Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to look at the initial squad that I've picked for FPL in season 2024-25, as well as introduce the league code for everyone that wants to get involved. So I was just going to set up the league and get that going and pick the team as we go, but I had to actually enter the team before I could go ahead and set up the league. So I've already picked a team, and I'll just quickly go through it as we look at the team and the process. So if we go to, actually I should have gone to transfers so we can see the lines. So starting off in goal, and I guess part of when I'm doing my initial team pick is I generally like to sort of spend 9 million in the goalkeeper position. So you need two goalkeepers, one obviously on the bench, one starting. I guess for those that are fairly new to the concept, you get 100 million is the budget. So as you'll see, we sort of spend a little bit of money a bit further down, but generally don't go for the top of the line keepers straight away, or indeed throughout the season. You know, generally goalkeepers are the lowest scoring position based on points, and as we scroll down you'll probably see, like for example, out of all the top players last year there was only one goalkeeper, Pickford, top scored with 153. But I've just gone with Flecken, the Brentford goalkeeper, and Areola, the West Ham goalkeeper. If there's a $4 million goalkeeper that gets a start, he'll obviously come in, but you know, like I said, when I'm first picking the team, just lock away those two 4.5 million options. It just gives us a bit more flexibility with picking the goalkeepers, because it is very much a set and forget type position. We want to be using all of our transfers on, I guess, the outfield players. The next line is defense, and I've gone super light in defense. So essentially the plan is to play three defenders, and I'm hoping I can get them all at 4.5. Luca Dean from Villa, and Robinson, the Fulham wingback, you know, at 4.5 offer a little bit of value. You know, might not have the most sort of clean sheet potential, although I'm hoping for a bit more clean sheet potential from Villa this year. And then I've gone Kwanzaa as my third sort of playing defender at 4.5. This is more just a punt, in the hope that he does get picked in the first week against Ipswich. But I guess this also really represents finding a cheapest option at one of the big clubs that you can sort of slide in and get away with. After that, I've gone with two 4 million defenders, and these guys are probably going to sit on the bench. So again, sort of in line with having cheap goalkeepers, you know, bench defenders we're probably not going to use most of the time. So if you can get 4 million guys that are playing, can maybe make a little bit of value. That'd be good. So I've gone with Connor Cody, who's at Leicester City now. Has done all right in the past when he was playing for Wolves and the like. And Harwood Bellis, who's a Man City graduate, playing for Southampton. So, if he locked in a central defence role there, I'd be happy to have him in the squad. And so what that does is free up some, as much money as we can for our front eight. So if I just do a bit of quick maths here, so 20 plus 1.5, 21.5. So I guess between defense and goalkeepers, I've only spent 30 million, which gives me 70 million to play with. So I'll just do the front eight all at the same time. So basically the order that I'll go in is started off with Salah and Haaland, the two big hitters. So Haaland at 15 mil, Salah at 12.5. Some people might say, well, that's quite expensive, and it is, to be fair. But I guess the sort of argument here as well, if we fill in these two spots, and then we sort of find, well, we're not happy with the rest of our squad, or we need to find a bit more money for defence. Well, these are the guys that are easiest to downgrade. It's easier to downgrade Haaland to say Watkins is the next best at 9 mil, and that frees up $6 million to spend elsewhere. But also, I guess, if you've got Watkins and then, a few of these $10 million midfielders, it's very hard to reach up to Haaland if he starts off hot. And while, Chelsea in the first game isn't the easiest fixture, Ipswich in game week 2 is where I'll really want to have Haaland, I think. So loading up both of them at the start of the year, and then working around. So the next thing is we want like a 4.5 million option. It can be midfield or forward. So we've got to play at least 3 defenders, got to play at least 1 goalkeeper, and then we can, load up on 7 of the 8 in our forward and midfield lines. And so for the 4.5 option, I usually prefer to go on the forwards. I find, there's usually some nicer options there, but I haven't done any sort of pre-season research, so I've just gone with the young Australian, Qual, who plays for Newcastle. He has been out on loan the last couple of years, but again, that's just a placeholder, which sort of let me work out the budget elsewhere. So I had those 3 guys in. So then I was looking for, cheapish forwards. Jamie Vardy's back in the Premier League, so I thought, 5.5 is about where I'm happy to spend on that 7th player, I suppose, between forward or midfield. Again, 1 cheap midfield, 1 cheap forward's fine. After that, I've just gone for Alvarez. Probably isn't the main man. Obviously, Haaland is. But he always seems to find a spot somewhere in the forward midfield rotation for City. So I thought I'll plug him in and see how we go. And then I think that left me with about 25 million. So, we've got these sort of $10 million options like Palmer, Saka, Son. I thought I could load 2 of them and a 5 mil. But I sort of went a little bit cheaper and went with Odegaard. And then I thought, well, Foden at 9.5 is sort of on that same level, but just slightly cheaper. So I went Odegaard and Foden, which left me with 7 million, and I just locked in Eze from Crystal Palace. So, so, not necessarily touting any of these players. It's more the structure at this stage. So, again, basically just bargain basement options in defence and midfield. As you can see, if we look at the top scores from last year, so this is basically listing, I think, everyone who scored over 140 points. There was 1 goalkeeper, 3 defenders, all from Arsenal. And then the rest are midfielders and forwards. And so even if you look at the top defender was Ben White, 182 points. There's 6 midfielders that outscored him, 7 midfielders, and Bowen matched him, so 8 essentially, and then 2 forwards, and I guess Havertz was pretty close. So that's sort of the theory there with not going big in defence or especially goalkeeper. And then, as I said, load in the big guys first, and then if you need to downgrade them, you can. We'll probably look at some different teams throughout the preseason that go without 1 or both of these guys. And then, like I said, probably try to pick 1 cheap forward, 1 cheap midfield, and ideally one of those being bottom dollar, which is 4.5 in the midfield and forward lines. And then your last sort of 4 positions, you can mix and match as you see fit. As I said, if you're, not sure how Salah's going to go with the new manager, you could, potentially turn this into, well, even if we say go Palmer, then you've got a couple extra mil, you could get Bowen as well. Oh no, sorry, I can't do maths. 6.5, not 7.5. Not so many great options. Maybe Pascal Gross. There's a bit of hype about the new Brighton manager. So, he could end up working out well. So you could do something like that. Just go back. So that's, I guess, the advantage of, going with the more expensive option. It's easier to do that than to, week 1, Salah goes off against Ipswich and then, I want to get him in my team. How do I, chop and change and Yeah, you only get one free transfer a week. So if you're trying to upgrade in after the first week, you've got to use 2 trades, which is going to cost you points. So, that's the squad as it stands. As I said, this is zero preparation. This was just me plucking names that sort of matched the philosophy of how I'd ideally like to set up the team. Um, but it could end up being, with a few cheaper options, like the likes of Foden and Odegaard could get upgraded. Especially if there's a cheap forward, we might sort of go super cheap up front and really flesh out the midfield. Might even be able to treat ourselves to like a Saliba in the Arsenal defence or Alexander Arnold, might sort of have a nice role in the new Liverpool system. So, it just allows for those options and flexibilities. Um, so that's the initial team. As I said, it will change. We'll look at some different options throughout. I'm going to do some more research myself, but just wanted to mostly get on to pump up the league. So as you can see, I've set up a head-to-head league this year. I think I set up a classic league last year, and it's just like an overall league in Supercoach or Fantasy. Not the most interesting, but head-to-head league should be good because obviously, you play a different player each week, and you might have a bad week, but if the other player has a worse week, well then you're still doing all right. So if I go to invite friends, that should get the league code up on the screen. So E1BCPH. I will also copy that link and add it in the description below this video. But that's, I guess, all for now. As I said, if you're interested, jump on, sign up if you haven't signed up, or log in if you've previously signed up. Pick your team, do whatever you want with that. There's unlimited transfers before the 17th of August as well, so don't feel like this is the team you've got to stick with. And then jump on and join. So create and join new leagues. So join a league, join an invitational league, and then the league code goes in there. Or just click the link in the description and it should take you straight to this point anyway. But other than that, I'll let you go about your day. So if you've got any comments, questions, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. I will do a bit of an introductory type video for those that are new to FPL in the next couple of days. So, if you're not sure about it, keep an eye out for that. Hopefully I can convince you. Give us a like if you enjoy the FPL content, obviously. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content we've got on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.